Hello and welcome to this video on overloading in class. In this video, we'll be seeing the different ways on how to overload a method by changing the number of arguments, by changing the number of data types, and also understand why method overloading is not possible by changing the return type. So let us dive into the coding part directly. If a class has multiple methods having the same name but different in parameters, it is known as method overloading. If we have to perform only one operation, having same name of the methods increases the readability of the program. Suppose you want to perform addition of a given number, but that can be any number of arguments. If you write the method such as add int of two parameters or b of int for three parameters, then it might be difficult for you as a programmer to understand the behavior of method because the names are different. So if you use the same method names, it will be easy for you to utilize it. So let us understand what that means. So our first method is changing the number of arguments. Here we have a class named addition and our test main and a main method is initialized. So inside my class addition, I want to generate two methods. First is add and another would also be add, but the number of arguments would be 2 and 3. So how do I do that? I'll have my return type int and add. This is my function name, and inside my add I'll have int a comma int b and open close the brackets. Now for this my return value would be addition of a plus b, right? So now I'll have my same function name int add, but instead of two arguments I'll have three arguments. Now this return type would have a plus b plus c. So now in our main function I'll be initializing the class addition. Addition a is equal to new of addition, and now I'll have my print value, and inside my print value I'll be calling my class variable a dot add. Inside this I would have the values 1 comma 2 comma 3. So my a value is now associated with 1, b value is associated with 2, and my c value will be associated with c. So first let us understand without c. Without my c, would the variable be able to understand that it has two parameters and it needs to return a plus b? So let us check the output of this program. First I'll be compiling the code and then I'll be running the class 3. So our a value is 1 and b value is 2. When this function is being invoked, we go to this particular method and our 1 2 is substituted and our return value is 3, and that is printed by the system.out.println. So now I'll copy the same function, but this time I would be giving 3 variables for the system to understand a b c is being utilized. Now if you see, the function name is same, but the return value would be completely different because the number of arguments are increasing. So let us check out now. As you can see, 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. So the second overloading function is being invoked. So this example, we have created two methods. The first add method performs addition of two numbers and the second add method performs the addition of three numbers. So another way of doing this is creating static methods. Static methods are nothing but you need not initialize this new variable for the class and you can just simply call these functions. How do I do that? I'll be initializing them as static. So what happens? These class functions do not require a variable to be initialized for the class to invoke them. So I'll be just removing this line, and instead of the variable that I declare, I'll be just typing the class name. So this is just another way of declaring class methods and using them, because we do not actually require a variable to be initialized because it doesn't make sense, right? So method overloading, now by changing the data type of the arguments. What do I mean by that? So I can also provide method overloading and have two variables for both and change the data type of these parameters. Now I'll change them to double, and I'll remove the C. So our return value would also now be double. So now addition of two double values would return a double now. So instead of changing the number of parameters, I change the data type of these parameters. Now by doing so, what I would do, I'll just remove this value also. Instead of 1, I would be giving 1.1, 2.2, and I'll give them another bracket. So to close it out. So by doing this, what happens? My addition parameters are now in the form of double and int. So with this difference, my problem would now be able to differentiate the two adds because the data type is different. As you can see, the value printed is 3 and 3.3, which is nothing but the answers. So in this example, we have created two methods that differs in data type. The first add method receives two integer arguments and the second add method receives two double arguments. By doing so, we now differentiate between the two methods. A thought might come where if the return type values are different, our problem might be able to detect it, right? So if I just change my values to int and my return type as double, a type conversion happens and the system would be able to differentiate, right? So let us check out. As you can see, we are receiving an error. The error that we are receiving is method add is already defined in the class addition, incompatible data types. Yeah, so we'll just change this int and this is 2. Now we would be getting the second error. In Java, method overloading is not possible by changing the return type. This ambiguity occurs because a compile time error is better than runtime error. So Java compiler renders compile time error if you declare the same method having the same parameter. So return type isn't the solution. You need to change the parameters data type or change the number of parameters to provide the difference. This has a lot of use case that we'll be seeing in the later videos. So in this video, we saw about what is method overloading and how to perform method overloading by changing the number of parameters or changing the data type. So hope this video was helpful. Thank you.